to survive through all these challenging years, and what does the future hold? My guest, Abera Tola, is president of the society. A very warm welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
90 years, does it feel like 90?
Somewhat, yes. As a humanitarian organization, as you know, there are so many ups and downs. Sometimes we focus for organizational growth. Sometimes we'll be taken by external factors. But however, I can say that really there is, if it is not exponential growth, there is still growth in Ethiopian Red Cross Society.
Do you think that growth was steady?
Not at all. Sometimes, like, as you know, during the wars, like, starting from the beginning, it's a good beginning because it's not good, it's war, but for humanitarian organizations, that's also the time, if not the opportunity really to grow. Like, Ethiopian Red Cross came to existence during the Adwa War, and then the next one, the fascist invasion, gave it a sort of an impetus again to grow, and then follows the humanitarian crisis, as you know, the Wallo drought, again, made the organization to grow again, with capacity to respond to humanitarian crisis.
So you need shocks, is that what you say, to be able to grow a little bit faster, to make your presence felt?
Unfortunately, yes. There is whenever there is a crisis, there is a response. Then to respond, you have to build your capacity. To build your capacity, you have to, have human resources, have, management, HR, which can really do that. So that's how growth comes.
And it doesn't seem like we were immune to conflicts, to wars, and so on.
Yes, we are not immune to that, unfortunately. It's not, we are always prone to conflict, but there are also sometimes, factors, including, climate change, as you know. Of course, we are the main factors or the main players for all humanitarian crises. I mean, even drought, it's all about us, about the human leadership that brings, this kind of atrocities to our people. So,
your name picked up during the 1973-74 famine, and also during 10 years later, 1984. Does that feel like a correct assessment?
Yes, it is. It is like 1974 and the later one also. As you remember, our crisis become given a sort of a global attention also, because of Bob Geldof and others also came in with that music, We Are the World, and that, it has good thing as well as, it is bad things also, because it is starting that time that we started to be referred as, whenever there is a drought or poverty,
your name pops up.
Our name pops up. So, unfortunately, yes, but we can come out of it. Yeah.
So, do you foresee, as an institution, those kinds of crises at the Ethiopian Red Cross Society?
Yes,
because it kind of provides you with the correct assessment of what's to come and so on, and makes you a lot more prepared for those kinds of emergencies. Do you?
No, in fact, we are working on it.
Across time.
Yes, that is a capacity you need. That means to have a capacity to sort of for early warning systems, like you need a sort of operation centers, where you can really predict if it is a natural cause. What is difficult is really the human part of it, and conflict is really difficult. You don't know when it would happen, but we do all kind of preparedness for that too, including climate change. Like, we prepare ourselves for flooding issues, For example, during the month of July, now our team, for example, are in Omo Valley.
Landslides and floodings and so on.
Yes, we predict this. We have staff in place who are doing this. And we are also supported by technology currently, really, for early warning systems.
You tend to emphasize all these climate issues because in your presentation recently in China, one of the conferences, you highlighted that, right?
Yes, I mean, climate change, whether we like it or not, it is really there. You know, we want to deny, but it is here. Like even if you look at in our case, I can give you a good example of the Lake Turkana. Lake Turkana, I was one of the activists, I can say, during the building of the bridge and the dam. You remember the Gibe Dam?
The Gibe series, yes.
They gave the thing that we were saying that it will affect people, displaced people, you know, and we said that the water sources will be, you know, limited, that flows into the Lake Turkana. And also it is a border issue with Kenya. That was what we were saying as activists, saying that. But
I remember that very well.
yes, but now it's different. In fact, the lake is coming more towards the Ethiopian territory. You know, it has taken more than like about 100 hectares of land.
Right.
And the water is really full, you know. So
Does it mean that you were ill-advised?
yes, I mean, that is when we didn't think much of the impact of climate change. Really, we didn't have thorough study. We didn't have, you know, research, well-done researches in that. But we went for campaign. But when you go there now, it's really a different story.
Different story, exactly. Humanity, impartiality, and so on as the basic tenets. How does those principles translate into action in this country?
It is up to us really to translate that into action, like in our day-to-day activities. So, like if you are talking about neutrality, we are thinking of not to, you know, side with any actors. That's how we keep our neutrality issues. And also our independence as an institution to operate independently. So it's really difficult operating it or in action than saying it. It is not unique to us, but sometimes it is unique to us, for example, in places of conflict. That means we have to really aware, we have to educate, we have to train our staff in the field to keep impartiality. That is, you know, our responsibility is to provide humanitarian assistance to each and everyone without any kind of having judgment or prejudice about the person who are giving the humanitarian aid. It's really difficult, as you know, particularly because of, you know, this regional whatever, you know, configurations. So impartiality is really one. We are having challenges, you know, in providing humanitarian aid.
So that means you train your volunteers across that line?
We train them. We train our staff. We train our volunteers. We train our members. You know, we have, as you know, maybe we have more than about 50,000 volunteers. Yeah.
Wow. So how do they operate? I mean, you always need them, right?
We always need them.
You need to mobilize them.
Yes.
You have the structure to do that, right, effectively and so on.
Yes, we have the structure. Like we follow the government state structure. Like currently we have about 14 regions. We have zonal, waradas, and all that. And those are our structures. Like we train them at the warada level. In Addis also we have at the waradas level. We recruit them at waradas level. I'm not saying that we are really doing very, very well in that.
Meaning in terms of reach?
In terms of reach, as well as in terms of providing services. For example, having doctors, volunteers, engineers, from different walk of life. So we didn't do much on that, but we are providing this small kind of voluntary training services.
So are you satisfied with the figure that you have 50,000?
No.
So under normal circumstances, the ideal situation would be like how many volunteers for you in this country? We are 120 million.
120 million, and recently we said in our plan, when we celebrate maybe after 10 years, we said one volunteer among 120 Ethiopians.
Wow, that's
one will be one will be a volunteer.
You would at least need 15 to 15 million volunteers.
Yes, so we expect that we can have about maybe 12 million volunteers
in 10
years' time.
Do people know what you do? Do they appreciate what you do?
They love us. I can say, whenever we talk about Ethiopia, Red Cross, people respond. People are willing to listen. People are willing to contribute. The challenge is from our side. That means we are not able to reach. We don't have any clear, strong, or aggressive strategy to reach our people. Just it's amazing. For example, when I go into one ministry, and say I'm from the Red Cross, people gives me attention. So that's how people, I can say, really respect and love Ethiopia.
How has that been difficult? Because you claim that there are 6.1 million, at least, members, which means anywhere between 4.5 to 5% of the Ethiopian population.
Yeah.
So that's quite a big figure.
It is.
So it should have been easier for you, right, to reach out to?
Yes, that's why we need a strategy. We need a technology. We need volunteers. We have to work aggressively. We didn't do that much, but we have a plan now, really to reach there. Not 6.4 million, but we hope to reach about 20 million members.
Wow. Also in the same period, 10 years.
In 10 years period.
Wow. So what other challenges are you facing? I mean, funding always comes to mind.
Yeah. Yes, resources are challenges, but really not at all. It's the way we think. Having 120 million people and talking about limitation of resources, it's really absurd, right? We proved the case recently, with the Oromo regional Red Cross. They were able to mobilize about 340 million birr from their own constituency. And then we reached out to the same government asking if they can contribute, if there is a way that they can, add up resources. And the government is willing to do that. When they give service, they ask, the person who is getting the service if he can or she can contribute about 50 birr or 100 birr for that service. People are willing to do that. This is just from our own society I'm talking about. But we have to have a strategy engaging ourselves as the Red Cross into the private sector domain. That means we have to work, with the private sector. We have to work with the public and around what we call these private-public partnership issues. I have seen that in Egypt. I have seen that in Turkey. I have seen that in everywhere where Red Crosses are or Red Crescents are engaged in the private sector, having joint ventures, working with them, working, this supplementary food, which we distribute for children and lactating mothers. Much of that companies are now owned by Red Crescent and Red Crosses globally. And there are also flour mills, in so many places, owned by Red Crescent and Red Crosses. For us, we just, buy grain from private sector, And then we take that one to our beneficiaries. So I hope you might have heard recently that we entered into a sort of a joint venture with Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. Yeah, so
that's a major shift.
That is a major shift. And we are really looking forward in this area to work with the private sector around joint ventures.
Why were you late in doing so?
I don't know. Maybe because of the mindset. I mean, here, board before me, even in the management, even to have this joint venture with commercial bank, we had to go very long way, like convincing, board members in the region. Some argue that, no, we don't have, that's not our values, that is not our principles, something that, are you giving up, our, property to CVE? There are this kind of, really mindset there. And it took us a little bit, long way to convince all to get even. I had to call the General Assembly twice for this case, to get it, the stuff. It's funny, like I asked, okay, if you say that, why don't you just let us add just like 10 birr in each and every drug we sell? You know how you have drug stores in the drug stores in all over the country.
Yes.
And if you add that, maybe we can get about like 20 million birr, let them say, a year, so that we can continue, building our building. But almost there was a demonstration against that. So people are sometimes, they don't accept, or they will not be convinced, but you have to try hard, and that's the outcome.
And your headquarters, the building, is barely off the ground.
Yes.
And it's been there for forever.
Forever, 26 years.
Wow.
Yeah. But now, you'll see a little bit a different thing in the years to come. We have already agreed. They have already contracted out with contractors. And it will start, I think, in September. So that might be a 3 years plan or 4 years plan to complete.
So what does the future hold for your society?
There is a bright future, honestly. Why I'm saying that, we currently we are really in a very promising situation, I can say. We don't have any funding constraints currently. And we have projects worth billions of birr, which we are engaged in. I don't mean it's very huge, but it's the first in history, like thinking of 10 billion birr project. And with this, we are thinking of like localization, which is we want to decentralize our structure, where we are thinking of empowering or capacitating our regional offices, our zonal offices, so that they can respond to any humanitarian crisis that might have happened in those regions. This is a different thinking now. Instead of centralizing, we are thinking of devolution of our structure. This is really, it has acceptance, particularly from our donor side, and the donors are also willing to go and support this regional capacity. So,
What do you mean donors? You mean
international donors? We have international donors, and currently we have big donors who are really with us to help us with that. And the second strategy we put in place is what we just discussed about volunteers. To have volunteers, to recruit volunteers at each and every structure. And of course, the public-private thing will be there. Of course, the main why Ethiopia Red Cross is for our humanitarian program, and our program department is really going to be the largest one again.
Well, good luck with that, and thank you very much for joining me to talk about this, about your institution, which just turned 90.
90, yeah. No. Okay, thank you.